Hi, I'm Yasmin Boland, and I would love to share with you today how I became the world's first moonologer and the first moonology expert and teacher. My journey into moonology, I would say, began with actually a pretty fantastic alignment in my astrology chart. You could say that doing moonology was hard-coded into my astrology chart because my moon is conjunct my midheaven, or MC. And the MC symbolizes career. So I literally have the moon on my career line. This is a pretty rare placement, and it does honestly strongly support a career with the moon. Though I must say, I only really put these two things together, the fact that I have my moon on my MC and the fact that I founded Moonology. I only really realized the significance of that later on, once I'd set everything in motion. So initially after university, I worked as a journalist and a TV producer, but in all honesty, I experienced severe burnout doing those jobs. I was seeking relief, so I learned to meditate, which completely and utterly transformed my entire life. Around 1999, my interest in astrology and my studies in astrology and the broader New Age movement really skyrocketed. In that same year, in 1999, I traveled to the USA to interview some incredible luminaries like Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay, and James Redfield, who was the author of the Celestine Prophecies. Spending 3 hours with Deepak Chopra in particular was life-changing. By the year 2000, I was deeper even still into my astrology studies when I had a conversation with my first astrology mentor. So during this conversation, I came up with the term Moonology. My mentor, who was very psychic and had strong psychic intuition, she kind of cocked her head to one side and went, "Ooh, that's important, write it down." And so I did, and I even registered it as a URL. The pivotal moment, though, came during a goal-setting session with another mentor under another new moon. I made several really quite bold wishes, and I realized later when I found the piece of paper weeks or months later that they all came true. And to me, that really showed me the power of new moon intentions. I was extremely inspired by this, and I began hosting free new moon wishing nights, actually at cafes, coffee shops in Bondi Beach in Sydney. And people just turned up in droves. They were all really enthusiastic about it like I was. And I realized, this practice, which had really ancient roots, was still something people wanted to do today. I also read an amazing book called New Moon Astrology by Jan Spiller, and that further deepened my understanding of what I was looking into and experiencing. So as a freelance writer, which I was back then, I started pitching horoscope columns to editors. My big break came when Jonathan Kainer, a top UK astrologer, offered me the chance to write free monthly horoscopes on his site, which I did with absolute relish. Later, he actually passed on a column to me in a new weekly celebrity magazine, new at the time, called Closer. This was like more than 20 years ago now, and I still do the Closer column. Touch wood. So this really marked my transition from journalism to astrology. I eventually wrote for major publications like Yahoo Australia, the Sunday Telegraph, which is Australia's biggest Sunday paper, and many more. And then a trip to India kind of took it all one stage further. It actually kind of helped me understand the importance of full moon celebrations, sort of further inspiring my moonology work. In 2013, I moved to London and I co-authored Angel Astrology 101 with Doreen Virtue in 2014. And then Hay House commissioned my next book, which was Moonology, published in 2016. Following the success of this book, I released the Moonology Oracle cards, which have sold more than 100,000 copies, maybe more. I lose track, and are still amongst the top-selling Oracle cards in the world. Plus, I publish a yearly Moonology diary, which has been life-changing for thousands of people because it teaches you how to work with the moon over the course of a year. And here we are today. So thank you for joining me on this journey. If you're new to Moonology, welcome. I'm excited to share more with you in my newsletter, my podcast, and more. And if you've been around for a long time, Thank you for your loyalty, and let's continue to work with the moon.